since we can't meet each week, I just wanted to take a few minutes to share just a little bit from one of the devotions that I was going through this week. Now, if you're wanting to follow along, we're in week 32, and we'll be looking at the devotion for Sunday of week 32. Now, this devotion looks at Matthew chapter 23, verses 1 through 12. And in this passage of Scripture, we see Jesus talking to his disciples, and he tells his disciples to not be like the hypocrites that he's being around, that they're these Pharisees that they're around and seeing. And these Pharisees are telling the people to live for God and to do these different things, yet at the same time, they're not really following through with what they're saying. And so we're going to be looking at hypocrites. Now, I think we all know a little bit about hypocrites. We've probably experienced people being hypocritical in our lives before. Maybe it was a fake friend or just someone who says one thing and really doesn't follow through. I think right now you can kind of tell who our real friends are. During school, you may see your friends and they can put on these different fake smiles and they can act all nice to your face. But right now, when it's less interpersonal connections, it's easy to tell who is really our friend, the person who truly responds to us when we reach out. And I think we all hate hypocrites. I know I do. It's irritating to be around hypocrites. So I'm reading this devotion, and starting out, it's like, oh, this is great. This is speaking against the people who are annoying. But see, the devotion doesn't end there, and it actually goes into these different questions. It says this: when I do good things, is it because I want to please God? Or when I do good things, is it because I want people to notice me? And do I do good things to make other people look bad, or do I try to push them down to make myself look better? And do I live one way and tell people to live a different? And do I expect other people to be perfect, but not really expect that of myself? And then it ends with this question: am I a hypocrite? And I'll ask you to answer these questions: yes, no, or maybe, or sometimes. And I think the point they're trying to make here is that when we do good things, but we do good things for other people, we do good things to make ourselves look better, we're truly being a hypocrite. Because as a Christian, we're saying, hey, I live for God. But if we're living in a way that's trying to elevate ourselves, we're not really living for God, we're living for ourselves. We're living to make ourselves bigger, to make other people like us more. And so the Devo is just trying to point out that maybe sometimes we're a little bit more like that hypocrite that we don't want to be. And so this devotion then ends with this question. It says, do I most frequently exalt myself or most frequently humble myself? And that's a challenge right there. It's this question of, do I lift myself up more or do I lift God up? And see, my challenge for you this week is to do good. There's a lot of good things that can be done this week. We are in a time in which people are stressed out. There are people who feel like they don't have enough stuff, and then probably a lot of people who don't have what they need. And so we can do good by reaching out and helping people, giving people things that they may need. We can also show God. We can show God through doing good things by the way we interact with people, by being nice, by being good people. But here's the point: don't do good so that yourself is lifted up. I see a lot of people on social media, such as TikTok or Instagram or these different social media platforms, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to do good in video or take pictures of themselves doing good, not because they actually want to do good things, but because they want to lift themselves up, because they want to get more followers, they want to get more likes, they want to get people to watch them. And so I think there's a lot of people that do good things for selfish reasons. And see, this is what Jesus was speaking out against. He's saying, don't do good things to lift yourself up. So my challenge for you this week is to do good, but don't do good for yourself. Do good to lift God up. That's what Jesus was teaching his disciples, and I think that's something we can gain from this passage. We're living in times, we're being in the middle of times that's crazy. And people need to see the goodness that we have because of God. But ultimately, we don't want to do good so that we can be elevated. We don't want to do good so that we get the likes and the follows on Instagram. We don't want to do good so that we get the people to watch our TikToks and to like our TikToks and to share. We want to do good for one reason: to give God glory. So my challenge for you this week is to do good, but do good for God, not for yourself.